I've been drilling holes in the earth for 30 years, and I have never missed a depth that I have aimed for. And by God, I am not going to miss this one. I will make 800 feet.
Hi there, and welcome to Baseball by Design. I am SportsLogos.net minor league baseball correspondent Paul Caputo, broadcasting live, as always, from the Sunday Helmet Hall of Fame in my basement in Fort Collins, Colorado.
And I am Dan Simon, recording from the Studio Simon headquarters at historic Bowman Field in beautiful Louisville, Kentucky.
Dan, when you eat pizza, what do you dip the crust in?
I am not a crust dipper.
I
didn't even know that was a thing. You know, I know there's like stuffed crust pizzas, so where they have, I guess, usually cheese in them. I've seen crusts with garlic and oil brushed on them, but I didn't know that dipping crusts was a thing. Like, what do you do? Do you order a side of marinara or something like that?
Marinara would be sort of an obvious choice, right? Sometimes if I've had wings, there's blue cheese left over, I might dip in the blue cheese there with the crust. Certainly, I'm never taking my whole slice of pizza and dipping it in anything. That's not the case, Dan, in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where they are dipping entire slices of pizza in ranch dressing. And that is the inspiration for their Tulsa Drillers Ranch Dippers alternate identity that I recently covered on sportslogos.net. That's how come I was asking you, because you're not that far from Tulsa in the grand scheme of things, globally speaking. You're not that far from Tulsa. But
yes, I am.
Okay. Well, let me say this. I drove from Tulsa to Louisville in less than a day in time for us to see a baseball game together in Louisville, Kentucky. So that you're within 1 day's drive of Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Okay.
If you get up early enough.
Well, I was actually, the reason I was thinking, I said what I said is I saw that your good friend Ed Rivera.
Oh, yeah. Host of the Dad Hat Chronicles.
Yes. Hi, Ed.
Hello, Ed.
I saw a video of him. I guess I saw it on Instagram.
Yeah.
Where he announced where this year's Curved Brim Media get-together is going to be.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're aware of that. And the first stop is in Cedar Rapids, Iowa.
Yeah. Home of the Colonels.
Yes. And that's actually, people ask me people, including you, have asked, what's my favorite brand identity I've ever done? And I honestly tell them there really isn't a favorite. There's things I love about many or all of them.
Yeah.
But for certain reasons, the Cedar Rapids Colonel's identity has always had a very special place in my heart. I just get a kick out of that brand identity. And I've never been to Cedar Rapids. And I was thinking, well, maybe I'll go to this meetup. I am tangentially affiliated with Curved Brim Media, although I'm not a card-carrying member.
You're not on the text thread, Dan, but trust me, you don't want to be.
Okay, and so I quickly went to Google Maps and went to see how far it is, and it's a 7-hour drive.
7 hours. That's easy.
Well, based on somebody who just drove not a completely cross country, but pretty close to it. And I've done long drives as well. I used to drive to the baseball winter meetings every year, other than when it was in not Los Angeles, it was in Orange County, but the Los Angeles area, and Las Vegas. That was the only 2 times I didn't drive. But I drove to Dallas, which is about a 12-hour drive. I drove to Orlando, which was like a 14-hour drive. So I'm okay with long drives, but I was wondering, do I want to drive 7 hours there and back? So still trying to decide.
If I want to see affiliated minor league baseball, I have to drive 7 hours in lots of different directions. I could drive 7 hours to Salt Lake City to see the Bees. I could drive 7 hours to Omaha to see the Storm Chasers. I could drive 7 hours to Amarillo, Texas to see the Sod Poodles, or I could drive 7 hours to Albuquerque, New Mexico to see the Isotopes. Lots of different directions I could drive 7 hours and see minor league baseball.
But have you ever done any of those?
I've done Salt Lake. I've done Omaha. I've done all except for Amarillo. I've actually done all three of them. And Albuquerque I've done several times.
Specifically to go see a game?
Yes.
Oh, good.
Including twice with Ed Rivera. once to Omaha and once to Albuquerque.
Wow. Good for you.
First of all, Dan, it's a little known fact that 30% of all social media content right now, 30% of all content across all platforms of social media is videos of Ed Rivera. It's he is omnipresent out there on the socials. But if you did not see that video, the Curve Brim Media meetup is happening the weekend of August 28th. It's going to be the Quad City River Bandits, which is a team that I've long wanted to see. That ballpark is really great. And then the Cedar Rapids Colonels, as you mentioned, one of the all-time great Dan Simon identities. I was there once with a baseball palooza. It was a really terrific ballpark. And we're going to hit the Field of Dreams as well, Dan. So it's going to be a fun weekend.
Wow, it really does sound fantastic. Maybe I have to make that drive then.
That would be huge breaking news. Dan, obviously, all of this talk about dipping pizza into things and driving relates to the fact that the Tulsa Drillers have this fun alternate identity. The focus of this episode is not on that alternate identity. It is on the Drillers' primary identity, although we do get into the Dippers a little bit. But I just thought that was sort of a fun conversation. I wasn't sure if that had reached, if that phenomenon of dipping pizza into ranch dressing had reached you all the way in Louisville, less than a day's drive away. So that is the reason for all of this conversation. But we're going to talk some more with Justin Gorski, who's the general manager of the Tulsa Drillers. And then we're going to have a little bit of a check-in live from the ballpark with Chris Storm, who came and joined us. Chris and his wife were there. And then, of course, Ranger Amy. But before we get to the interviews, Dan, we have a listener. People are reacting to things, and maybe not necessarily with questions, but just reacting to things that we're saying. So I want to throw this out. Once again, Orseco Sanetta writes to us. He wrote to us on a previous episode about his very detailed spreadsheets that he has, that he keeps. This was a different note. He says, "Good morning. I am actively listening to your Lowell Spinners episode, and another loyal listener asked your thoughts about the next Pioneer League city. In my opinion, the northern Arizona area is an untapped market. Sadly, there is no professional ballpark in Flagstaff, but there is a name that would be absolutely perfect for the team, the Plutonians. The planet," he puts planet in quotes, "the planet Pluto was discovered by Flagstaff's Lowell Observatory. Pure coincidence with the Lowell referencing." That's funny, actually. Very respectfully, Orseco A. Sanetta. So that is that would be an interesting one. The question of where to put another Pioneer League team and what it would be called, the Flagstaff Plutonians. It would be interesting to have baseball at like 7,000 feet of elevation there in Flagstaff.
If I were to brand a team in Flagstaff, I would name them the Flagstaff Infections.
Gross and funny, Dan, which is perfect. Dan, thank you for that laugh. Orseco, thank you for your letter. Again, if you want to send a letter, it's pauljcaputo@gmail.com. Or you can find me on the socials, Baseball by Design, on Instagram, Threads, and Blue Sky. Dan, let's get to Justin. Let's check in from the ballpark, and then you will be back with a Studio Simon Stumper.
Okay, I'll see you soon.
All right, everyone, welcome to Baseball by Design for the very first time. Justin Gorski, who is the general manager for the Tulsa Drillers. Justin, good morning. How you doing?
Hey, doing good, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing really well. I'm very pleased to be talking about this brand with you because as we noted in our email exchange, I'm going to be at my very first Tulsa Drillers game on May 14. So that may be right around when this episode is dropping. So I will be at a Tulsa Drillers game for the very first time. Looking forward to experiencing the ballpark and experiencing this brand and a place that has a lot of baseball history.
Yes, it does. We're excited to have you and show off Tulsa. Have you ever been to Tulsa in general before, Paul?
So on our Baseball Palooza road trip, 9 or 10 of my friends every year, we do a different minor league baseball road trip every year. We were in the area. We drove through Tulsa, you all were not at home. I think you might have been playing the Northwest Arkansas Naturals.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
All
we saw
right.
you play as the away team in Arkansas. We drove through Tulsa and we stopped for some pretty incredible barbecue at a kind of famous place that I never remember the name of.
Well, we got quite a few of those in town.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't do it justice if I just said one of them and left out the other one that it actually was. So, but we are definitely known for our barbecue around here. We got some amazing food in Tulsa.
That is, I will before the end of this interview, I'm going to find that name and I will come up with it, or maybe I'll do a little addendum from the ballpark for this episode or something. So
There you go. Love it. We may need to go eat. We may need to go eat barbecue together after when you're out here.
I like this idea very much.
Yep.
See, now we are talking here. We were sorry to miss the Drillers. We were sorry the schedule didn't work out with you all being home at that point, because I've heard great things about the ballpark, and this is a place that has an extensive baseball history here. What is that baseball history? And you yourself have some baseball history as well. You've been with the Drillers for 17 years. We were just chatting before we started recording.
Yeah, just came on my 17th opening day here with the team. Started off as a 10-month intern here and kind of moved my way up, and lucky enough and blessed enough to stay in Tulsa a majority of my professional career. Did a couple internships before that, but yeah, the history of Tulsa baseball goes back to 1905, actually, is when professional baseball started out here before statehood. Oklahoma became a state in 1907, so professional baseball was here before that. So the Tulsa Oilers were the original professional team here, started in 1905, went all the way to 1976. And actually, they moved the team, they got a new ownership, and they moved the team to Louisiana. And they were there for 2 years, and they were the Louisiana Drillers out in Louisiana. Well, a Tulsa businessman named Bill Rawling and Roy Clark, the famous musician, bought the team and moved it back to Tulsa. And they actually just kept the Drillers name. So the tie-in just worked out very, very well, and we've been the Drillers ever since.
Your logo was one of the earliest created by the prolific design firm Brandy Ose, back when they were Plan B, way back when. This brand has been around for, the current brand has been around with some iterations along the way, largely intact since 2004, I believe. Is that right? 2004?
So yes, the one that Brandio built was in 2004. Jason and Casey, great friends of the Drillers. We've been doing things with them for many, many years. Again, one of their first clients over there, and so we had that look basically from 2004 to 2021 is when we kind of updated to our new current script that we have there. But we had that for many years, and that was super popular with our fans throughout. We still have our original tee that we built with them back in that year. We still use that today.
That is a great claim to fame there. Jason is a friend of the podcast, has been on a number of times. We grab him when he can. They're quite busy. But you hinted at it a little bit here, but I thought I would just ask the question, why is this team called the Drillers?
Yeah, well, obviously when we came over from Louisiana, but Tulsa has also been very well known as the oil capital of the world. In the early 1900s, the oil boom happened, and that's really how Tulsa became Tulsa. There was so much happening around here. All of the Art Deco is inspired by the oil boom that happened here, and a lot of oil tycoons settled right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where the oil was. So the Drillers name really tied in very well. We've been very nostalgic throughout many of the years, obviously starting with the Oilers and then going to the Drillers. We're very traditional, right? We love to stay with what we're doing here. We're not the, like our friends in the Texas League, the Sod Poodles, or, some of the other crazy ones that are out there. We've stayed with the Drillers, and it's been consistent and traditional throughout.
The history of this brand in particular goes back about 50 years to 1977. You guys doing anything to commemorate? This is a big conversation these days. The number of years versus the anniversary year. I know that's always sort of a conversation. But if it was 1977, that makes this the 50th season. Are you doing anything for the 50th season this year?
We're actually doing it for the anniversary next year in 2027. With the COVID year, obviously that kind of hindered what we had going on there and didn't play, Drillers baseball there. So we are celebrating, and next year in 2027 will be our anniversary season. We'll celebrate 50 years of Tulsa Drillers. We're going to go back. I think we've had 7 different renditions of the Drillers logo throughout those 50 years. So we'll celebrate each one of those. We've had 4 championships in different eras throughout. So we're really excited to be able to celebrate all of that next year. Bring back some of the former players, bring back some of the guys that really built that history in Tulsa, Oklahoma with some big names. We had, Sammy Sosa was a Tulsa Driller, Juan Gonzalez, more current guys like Nolan Arenado and Cody Bellinger and, Clayton Kershaw came through here on a rehab stint. So we claim all those guys, and the history of Drillers baseball is just so profound, and we're so proud of it.
One of my absolute favorite of the historical logos from the Drillers is this kind of Mr. Met looking character, right? Like it's a baseball guy with a baseball head, except the nose, there's kind of like this snowman carrot nose that is the oil rig. Is that, am I saying that
oil
right?
derrick.
It's
the oil derrick.
Yes. Yeah. I am woefully inadequate on my oil industry lingo here. So he's got the oil derrick, the sort of framework tower as the nose. This character is great, and if I'm not mistaken, you've brought that character back in, sort of retro branding and that sort of thing. So that character still lives today.
Yes, he was actually, that's Oily the Oiler, and he was the Oilers back in the day before we were the Drillers. He was their mascot.
Okay.
So we did bring him back, and he is now currently, it's a logo mark for us with Brandios. We redesigned him, changed his colors a little bit, but kept that nostalgic look to Oily, and brought him back, and he is now on the sleeve of our primary jersey. We have a hat with his face logo on there. We use him around the ballpark. One of our most popular logos is Oily's face there with that oil derrick nose that you're talking about.
Justin, it's very important to me that I am as accurate as possible on this podcast. I want to make sure I have all of my facts right. So I double checked some things even as we were talking here, because I knew the guys would come through for me here. I texted the Baseball Palooza crowd and I asked for where did we stop for barbecue, and the answer was Oklahoma Joe's.
Oklahoma Joe's, yes, absolutely, one of the best. One of the best.
And if I recall, my buddy Scott and I shared a sampler plate that Scott and I can put away some food, especially on the Baseball Palooza road trip. But this dang near defeated us, this sharing this one sampler plate. So
well, I love that. Well, when you guys come to the ballpark, so we've incorporated a new, we call it our Boomtown line. So 2 years ago, we won best minor league concession item in all of minor league baseball. It's this 2-foot long hot dog with chili, cheese, onions, all that kind of good stuff on there. Well, we've created a Boomtown line now, so we have 5 different Boomtown concession items, and one of them is our loaded barbecue sandwich. So you're talking a 2-foot long barbecue sandwich. If you guys are barbecue fans, this is what you guys are going to need to try when you get into town.
So the thing to do then is not to go out for barbecue before the ball game, but to come to the Drillers game and get the barbecue there.
Yes, we're going to need to do that. Well, maybe the day before, the day after, we can get some barbecue outside of town. But in the ballpark, we smoke everything in-house. We do all of our own cooking here. So very, very proud of the concessions that we have here.
Okay, well, we're going to be doing kind of a flyby with this, because I'm driving my niece's car across the country to deliver to her in Philadelphia, and then we're flying back to Colorado. So we're going to be in Tulsa for about we're going to stay overnight, but we'll just have to see how much barbecue we can consume in that amount of time here. Some of the we talked about that oil derrick this year, in fact, and you were referencing this. There's a cap. There's a really great cap and a brand that you're doing that commemorates the oil industry and Route 66 with this alternate uniform. And this is a really clean looking uniform and a really classic feeling. And Route 66 is so cool. I think I counted one time, there's 18 minor league and independent professional teams along Route 66. And so that is a pretty cool, that would be a great minor league baseball road trip someday, just to keep all the way back and forth up Route 66. But this alternate identity that has the oil derrick on the cap, the really classic simplified version of it, and then some Route 66 elements incorporated into the uniform. What was the thinking that went into, organizationally wanting to celebrate Route 66 and to do that sort of almost like City Connect style oil derrick?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that was being the centennial, right? The 100-year anniversary of Route 66, and, being right there, and Tulsa calls himself the capital of Route 66. So right along the way there. So our city is doing a huge celebration this year, and they're doing all sorts of breaking records for the largest car show. And we did a on Route 66. There's actually, if you drive across it now, they've put in rivets where it plays music as you're driving across Route 66 now through Tulsa. So it's gonna be a huge celebration. So we want to tie into that, and obviously the oil derrick is such an integral part of our logo and our look and feel. And actually, when you come to the ballpark, Paul, one of our main entrances is a huge oil derrick. It's about a 50-foot tall oil derrick. And 5 years ago, we've actually added a 30-foot flame that comes off the top of it. So
Nice.
when we open gates, when we score a run, when we hit a home run, this thing goes off and you can feel the fire. So just an integral part of the experience here in Tulsa. So we want to celebrate that, put that on a clean looking cap. And then the Tulsa across the front ties into the neon look of all the neon lights that are across Route 66 and that Tulsa script there. And actually, our local designer, our senior manager of creative services, Mickey Downey, created that look and feel for us. So very, very proud of that. Our fans have loved that, and that's a new authentic look for us.
Thank you very much for naming Mickey's name there, because one of my hangups sort of across the industry is when a team does these alternate brands. These brands are so much fun and they're so great, and there's some fantastic designers doing great work out there, and so I always love giving credit where I can. I wish teams would put that information in their press releases. Anytime an alternate identity comes out, let's see who designed it. So thank you for naming Mickey's name. Absolutely. And that's great work by Mickey there. You all, one of the reasons I want that information in press releases is because I write about minor league baseball alternate identities and primary identities for sportslogos.net. You all have kept me busy over the years. and that's been fun. So I want to touch on some of your fun alternate identities. There's one very recent that we'll chat about. But first, before we do, one of the alternate identities that I see mentioned the most as being one of the really fun ones out there that, I get a lot of people who are not really super connected to minor league baseball will do that. Have you seen this one? The Noodlers is one that I get that a lot. Like, can you believe this thing? The Noodlers? The Noodlers, I'm going to let you get into it, but very briefly, involves a fish eating a human being. There are 2 feet sticking out. This, by the way, Justin, answers a question. We did an episode recently on the Fargo-Moorhead Redhawks and their Fargo wood chippers identity that has the foot being fed into the wood chipper. And I asked the question, are there any minor league baseball logos out there that feature a human being being killed? Here's a giant fish eating a human being. This is an answer to this question. The Noodlers, I've gotten way too far into this here without letting you explain what it is. What are the Noodlers?
Yeah, so this was many years in the works, but in 2021 we released. It's basically, noodling is when you're crazy enough to go dive in a lake and you go down there and you stick your hand in a deep dark hole and you try to pull out a catfish. You're basically going into their nest during spawning season and you're trying to pull out a catfish for sport. Right? Some people eat them, some release them back in there. But I did this, Paul, and I've been skydiving and bungee jumping and all these things. That was the most exhilarating thing I've ever done in my life, right? You do not know what's down there. You are diving down and you are just sticking your hand in there in hopes that something bites you. And when it bites you, you're supposed to grab it as quickly as you can and try to bring it up to the surface.
That is wild. That is, I have also been skydiving. I can't imagine participating in this noodling thing here. So in this instance here, the catfish has won, and this is the person stuck their hand down there, didn't pull it back fast enough, and the next thing you know, the fish is defeating this human being. What went into that decision to actually like not just have it be like the hand and the fish, but like the fish has actually consumed 90% of this human being here?
Yeah, we call it actually our bite back logo, right? The fish is winning. Like we always said, like, okay, the human's always winning. And as we were designing this with Brandios, we were going through all these renditions and, we had an arm holding in, we had all these different things. And we're like, yeah, that's fun. But what if the fish won? And we completely flipped it on its head. And that's what we came up with after, we probably did 10, 20 renditions with these guys back and forth. And we came up with this logo. And this was our first alternate identity. And like I said, being very traditional, we were met with very mixed emotions from fans and across the country. But then the sales started to happen, and then all the fun started to happen, and then we celebrate it in stadium, and we've been doing it still. We do it every year, and we bring out a huge tank. It's like a 30-foot trailer, and we load catfish in it, and we let our fans go noodling during games. Like we bring out professional, if you would, catfish noodling instructors, and fans can actually go in this tank during the game and go noodling, and it's just a blast.
That is fantastic. It's a really fun alternate identity, and I always know when an alternate identity has like broken beyond, this community of folks who love minor league baseball and love all the alternate identities. And there's so many of the alternate identities. When one breaks through like that, you really know, right? Like it's because I start hearing about it from people who I wouldn't normally hear about it. That was one that broke through that community of minor league baseball folks. Another one. And I always love what I find myself researching when I cover these alternate identities. And we're just touching on a couple here. You've done a lot of these. But roughly this time last year, but just a little over a year ago, I found myself researching all of the different names around the world for the chicken dance. You all claimed chicken dance fame with this alternate identity. Tulsa, Oklahoma is laying claim to the origins of the chicken dance with an alternate identity. You were the chicken dancers, and you claimed that Tulsa is the origin of the chicken dance. There's more than a dozen names for this dance all around the world, but the chicken dance from Tulsa. So defend that claim, Justin.
Well, first of all, Wikipedia said it, so we're going with it. So whether you find it or not, Paul, no. And it's been the lore that Tulsa, we're known for our Oktoberfest. We're normally rated the number one Oktoberfest in the United States for many, many years. So very, very proud of that. But the lore has it that in Germany, it was called the duck dance back in the day. And they always had a duck costume that they bring out there, and they would do this dance. And in Tulsa, when they started, I forget back when it was, in the 70s or 80s, they did it in Tulsa at Tulsa Oktoberfest, but they couldn't find a duck costume. So they found a chicken costume instead, and they went out on stage as a chicken, and that's how the chicken dance originated. So claim to fame, it's Tulsa, Oklahoma, and we dressed up and we rebranded as the Tulsa Chicken Dancers. And again, another one of those ones that you heard quite a bit of, and they just thought it was hilarious. And we actually played as the Chicken Dancers a couple days ago here in Tulsa, last Saturday nights, and with the lederhosen jerseys and just a fun brand. And we did wiener dog races and Steinholds and broad eating contests and just had so much fun with it.
I'm sensing real danger when I get there in May in the team store because
yes. That means we're doing our job. Yep.
I'm gonna have to give the wallet to somebody else and be like, don't let me have this. Like the other one that I wanted to talk about, it's the most recent one. We just announced this at the time of this recording. It was last month. It was in March. The ranch dippers, and this is a lot of people dipping things into ranch, but again, Tulsa laying claim to being the capital of dipping different things into ranch. This logo features a slice of pizza being dipped into ranch sauce.
Yeah, we've had so much fun with this one, Paul. We've been talking about this for many years. We've always, a food identity plays so well, right? And, we've talked about barbecue. Tulsa's known for so many different things. It was really hard for us to choose what we wanted to do, right? Everyone claims fame to barbecue. Everyone claims fame to, Mexican food or, chicken fried chicken or all the things that, we know and love. And one of the things that we were joking around about is like, man, every local shop in Tulsa has their own version of ranch. They make their own. We're not talking the big guys. We're not talking out of the bottles. We are making our own ranch around here. And Mazio's is one of our great partners, and they call it world famous ranch, and it's one of the best around. And so we were like, you know what? Everyone is using this instead of ketchup or whatever it may be. So we started calling it Oklahoma's ketchup is ranch. And we're like, you know what? We can have fun with this thing. And we came out as the Tulsa Ranch Dippers. And, just as a few days ago, we've sold merchandise to 46 of the 50 states and 5 other different countries. And people are loving this one. This is one of those ones that I'm hoping you hear about there, Paul.
That is another one that's going to, challenge the old wallet here at the team store. So I will say this, this is, I don't do a lot of hot takes on this podcast, but I'm not a fan of ketchup. I would much rather have ranch sauce than ketchup. And so Now I think I need to find a way in the short time I'm going to have in Tulsa on this cross-country drive. I think I might need to find a way to try some different ranch sauces. Do you have the different ranch sauces at the ballpark?
We are exclusive Mazzio's Ranch at the ballpark. So
Okay.
that is our one and only. We are tried and true with them. But I'll tell you, you don't need to go anywhere else if you try that one there. So
I mean,
and
if
they
you
have a bunch of different ranch flavors too. So it's not just your standard. They got jalapeno, they got chipotle, they got all these other ones too. So we'll get you hooked up there.
that is all I need to hear right there. If there's different flavors of ranch sauce, I may never leave Tulsa here. This that sounds pretty good.
It sucks you in. That's what it did to me 17 years ago.
Right, exactly. Well, Justin, I'm really glad that I'm going to be there soon because this is not goodbye. This is just see you soon over a barbecue sandwich and some ranch dippers here, I think. So at the time of this recording, that drive is a few weeks away, and it is yet to be determined whether this episode is going to drop before that or after that, so I can record something in the ballpark there. Just maybe I'll do a live review of a barbecue sandwich or a ranch dipper or something. So in the meantime, though, where can people go to find you guys on social media to, find this team store with all this great gear? Where can people find you guys online?
Absolutely. TulsaDrillers.com or any of our social handles are Tulsa Drillers. Follow us, engage with us. We love going back and forth with people. Minor league baseball is fun, right? And that's what we're in the business to do. And, we always say that there's a baseball game going on with the entertainment that's happening here. So we're excited to have you, Paul. Big fan of the things that you guys do. Of all the follows, of everything that you guys do from the podcast to the social channels. Really appreciate what you guys do for baseball and the logos, and very, very cool, and proud to be a part of this.
Well, thank you so much. It's always fun to feature a classic brand like the Tulsa Drillers, and can't wait to meet you in person in May, Justin. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll see you soon.
Ranger Amy.
Hey.
As promised, we are checking in live from the ballpark. We're here in Tulsa. Holy smokes, we have been just holy smokes. Justin Gorski and the Tulsa Drillers have rolled out the red carpet for us.
They made us feel like baseball royalty.
Holy
tonight.
smokes! I mean, they comped tickets, comped parking, which turned out to be a bigger deal than we thought it would be because there's a couple of huge events going on here in the city tonight, and we get to the ballpark.
And I believe we are in his seats.
We are in the general manager's seats themselves.
They're amazing.
So, we kind of feel like big shots already.
We have the best view.
It's very busy.
I'm calling all the balls and strikes, not the umpire.
That's right. In section 108, we're just like, hey, Blue. And if a batter challenges, they just turn around and ask you.
Yeah.
Batter taps his head, and they're like, Amy, and you're like, that's a strike. That was a hit by pitch, maybe?
They just do a nod.
Yeah. But then, Justin is very busy, and he comes down and he says hello to us. And not only that, he's had his chef whipping up special food for us, way more than we could possibly
eat. I gained 10 pounds just looking at it.
Well, you may have gained 10 pounds eating half of it. Yes. I mean, if there was that too.
That was that.
But let's just say it's an incredibly beautiful ballpark. It's downtown Tulsa. You've got the buildings right beyond the outfield wall. In particular, out there in right field, you've got some of the tall business district that you can see from here. Just an outstanding ballpark. Justin Gorski has done such an amazing job. Like this concourse, I described the concourse as luxurious, right? Like it's like
it's
clean.
Open.
It's open. There's a ton of different.
You feel like you don't have to feel like you're missing something when
Right.
you're out there. You feel like you're part of it.
Plus, we've got a decent sized crowd tonight. There's no lines. Like the lines are like 2 or 3 deep, maybe. And we got some awesome Dole Whip. And
got some ice cream helmets.
Hornsby ice cream helmets, got the little mascot character.
Yeah.
So
I like Hornsby.
yeah.
So cute.
Yeah, he's adorable. And
got
you
pictures of Hornsby.
got pictures with Hornsby. But I just wanted to check in with you, just see what you think here. Like here we are in Tulsa. We drove all day. We woke up at 4:30 this morning in Fort Collins, Colorado. We are here now on an absolutely stunningly beautiful night for baseball.
Gorgeous night.
In a great Double-A baseball stadium. Like, I couldn't be happier right now.
I would say that one okay field is more than okay.
One okay field. Let's check with Chris to make sure we're saying that correctly.
I'm pretty sure we're not.
It's, foul ball. Oh my goodness. The only complaint I have, very minor and outside the scope of anything that we could possibly ask Justin Gorski to fix for us.
But the Springfield Cardinals are the visiting team, and they're named for their parent club, and that's boring.
That's not their fault, though.
It's not. It's certainly not, but it is certainly boring. The Drillers have a Dodgers thing going on here for sure, right?
Yeah.
Like they've got.
It's really cool to see all like Dodger stuff in the team store.
A lot of Dodger stuff,
that's pretty
a lot of
cool.
championship stuff. But Justin was telling us, you asked the question. It was a great question. You asked Justin if they get a lot of major leaguers rehabbing here. And he said that they have a couple times over the years. But like any middle child, the single-A team in California, Ontario, and before that it was Rancho Cucamonga, they get
Cucamonga, that sounds like a meal
Rancho
town.
Cucamonga. They get the rehab players because they're so close to Los Angeles, or if they want them playing a higher.
I wanted to know if he had met Ohtani. But I didn't ask that.
But or if they want them playing a higher level of baseball, the Double-A Oklahoma City Comets are just down the street here, so they don't get a lot of the rehab players the way their big brother and little brother would get. So, but anyway,
there's also a big, huge motorcycle rally going on in town.
yeah, it's
There's
kind
a
of
lot
cool.
of extra noise in the background.
It's great. I love it. It's a thriving, hopping town. We went and
City? I believe it's a city.
I know it's a city, town. It's colloquially a town, I would say. But I could not be happier that we incorporated Tulsa into this cross-country drive that we're making right now.
Just beautiful. Chris was talking about all of the history, talking about, look at this double play.
Did he get him? Oh, we beat it out. No replay at Double-A, at least at this ballpark. There's been a couple of close
Was
plays
he
where I'm
safe?
like,
Was he
they
safe?
call him safe on the back end of that double play.
I was out.
Yeah.
But there's the history of all the brick buildings. There's these beautiful murals everywhere. You can see a mural of Jackie Robinson in the outfield and I'm looking at it right now over there.
Yeah.
So,
We got the train going by out in center field there. You can see
Yeah,
that
the
going right through
train.
town.
Oh yeah.
So-
you can hear the rumble of the train. It's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
So anyway,
It's a
I'm glad
great
we're here.
experience.
I'm glad we made the drive. Got up early.
Yeah.
You were not thrilled about that, but we got up early to get here in
Yeah,
time.
you had to roll me out of bed.
And here we are, watching baseball. Fifth inning right now. We still got.
Luckily, you did most of the driving, so it's all right.
Oh no, you did some.
And you made coffee, so it was worth it.
Well, I'm certainly glad that it was worth being here. Ranger Amy, just wanted this quick check-in. So glad to be here. So glad to be here with you, Ranger Amy, watching baseball. And we're also here with Chris and Julie. We're going to talk to Chris and Julie here in a minute.
It's really fun.
Chris Storm, Julie Nickelasian. First of all, thank you for making the drive way up here from roughly Oklahoma City to be here for a Tulsa Drillers game. Chris, nice to have you on the podcast finally.
It's nice to be here, and welcome to the great state of Oklahoma.
Thank you so much, Julie. Thank you for making the trip amidst a lot of work chaos, it sounded like.
Just a little bit, but part of the job.
There you go. All right. How often do you guys get here to Tulsa Drillers games?
Oh, about 3 or 4 times a year.
All right, very good. How often have you had the general manager show up with plates of free food for you when you get to a game?
Zero.
Today would be the first day.
Chris, you famously have been to 53, is that the number? 53 ballparks in the state of Oklahoma. How does this one compare? Where would you, I'm not asking you to rank it, but roughly speaking, how does it compare to the other ballparks in the state?
Oh, I'd say it's pretty decent. No, this is a phenomenal park. The setting is great, downtown Tulsa. Historic region. The ballpark it's a very light, has a light, airy feel to it. Surprisingly for being downtown.
Yeah, absolutely. My first thought when I came in here was just like, what a beautiful ballpark, like what a beautiful setting. So, Julie, you got to hug Hornsby. How was that?
It was fantastic. Hornsby is top-notch, quality mascot, very squishy, nice fur. I give it 3 stars.
3-star hug with Hornsby.
Yes.
He's a drummer too. We saw him drumming when we came in here. That was pretty amazing. Julie, how many games do you get to in a year?
Not as many as Chris.
Yeah, okay.
10 to 15.
Okay.
Probably, and we're season ticket holders with Oklahoma State University too. Go
Okay.
Pokes. And they've had a pretty solid season as well.
Now, before we got this huge plate of free food, courtesy of the Drillers, you showed up with a brat with sauerkraut.
I did.
Is that your standard fare?
Yes, usually.
All right, Chris, do you have a standard fare?
Popcorn.
Popcorn.
Used to be a pretzel.
All right, the soft pretzel's
That had
pretty
to
good.
change.
Chris, you go by Hat Storm on the socials.
Yep.
What does that mean? Hat Storm.
I wear hats every single day, including when I'm teaching in college. And I try to make them pertain to what we're learning about that day.
You often will text me, usually on a Monday, to ask me what is the next day's podcast going to be. What are you doing there? Why am I getting those texts?
When it's appropriate, I'll try to wear a hat that you're discussing on the show if I'm teaching, that week. But in the summertime, it's wide open, and I try to have one for every episode you do, or I try to make sure that happens for after the episode.
And you have a Lego cat who you post on social media with photos of these hats that you post. What's the story? Why is there a Lego cat?
I love cats. We've got a couple of kitties at home, and we've got two Lego cats and one Lego kitten in the office now. And their hats and caps, the Lego cat and Lego kitten, and then we just added lids, the orange Lego cat.
How do those Lego cats correspond with your actual cats? What do you have for actual cats?
Oh, wow. We have one cat, a beautiful black kitty, and her name is, what's her name, Storm?
Well, we just call her Kitty, but it's Allegra.
So
Allegra, okay.
Our cats are always named after allergy medicine.
That's funny.
And our other cat is technically Zyrtec.
Nice. This is great. Well, listeners of my podcast will know that Yodel, the 19-year-old cat, was a black cat. She was a great grumpy old lady. Sadly, has crossed that rainbow bridge, but she and I would watch a lot of baseball together. So I know you guys are watching a lot of baseball with your cats. We've got a beautiful evening for baseball here. Thank you guys for making the trip to hang out with Amy and me.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah, thank you for coming out.
Deep within the recesses of his secret headquarters, somewhere in Louisville, Kentucky, sits Dan Simon. By day, Dan is the owner of Studio Simon, but by night, he tries to stump one Paul Caputo. This is Studio Simon Stumper.
All right, everyone, welcome back. It is time for Studio Simon Stumpers, in which Dan Simon brings a trivia question that is intended to be challenging, but not impossible. Not trying to stump me, Dan. You're just trying to have fun.
Indeed. And with this one, I think this one might be one where you just have to take a guess. I don't know if you're going to know this one, although it's not out from out in left field, to use a baseball.
I don't get it. I don't get the reference. What do you mean by that?
Okay. So here we go with our stumper today. Prior to the Lafayette, that's Lafayette, Louisiana, Drillers moving to Tulsa in 1977 and becoming the Tulsa Drillers, previous minor league baseball teams in Tulsa were known on and off from 1906 through 1976 as the Tulsa Oilers. Okay. Did you know that?
Yeah, we talked about that, and they had that great logo that was like the Mr. Met baseball head.
Okay, well, let's talk about that, shall we?
Let's do it.
Okay. In 2023, the Tulsa Drillers introduced a new mascot based on that character you just mentioned in one of the Tulsa Oilers logos. So our Studio Simon Stumper today asks, what is the name of this mascot? Is it Pumpsy Pete? Is it Oily the Oiler, or is it Derek?
Okay. If this is something that I discussed with Justin, and I'm flaking on it right now, because at the time of this recording, I have already interviewed Justin. The nose of the mascot is an oil derrick. And so that's why it would be Derek. But Pumpsy is really picking at the back of my brain there. I don't think it's Oily. I think it's either Pumpsy or Derek. Dan, I'm going to go Derek.
Well, sometimes when you are wrong, you're only a little bit wrong. But this time you said you eliminated Oily the Oiler. And that's his name,
It's
Oily the Oiler.
All right.
Now, it should have been Derek. That
Should have been Derek. Derek would have been great.
Now, the reason for Pumpsy Pete, obviously an oil pump,
Sure.
which is not what's pictured in the logo, but still it's a term associated with the oil industry. There was actually a Major League Baseball player named Pumpsy Green, not his given name, but that's what he went by, and that's what you will find him under at baseballreference.com. He was the first black player for a Major League Baseball team, meaning the last team to integrate.
Yeah.
Was do you have an idea who that last team was?
It's the Red Sox or the Yankees?
The Red Sox is correct.
Red Sox.
And he was the first black player to play for the Red Sox in 1959. So I was already familiar with Pumpsy Green, and so he was the inspiration for Pumpsy Pete. So one of the things I don't know, even though I was the one that put this stumper forward, that's what the mascot's name is. I'm making an assumption, though I don't know this for certain, that was its name back when the team was the Tulsa Oilers and used that logo. So I don't know that the current front office named him Oily the Oiler. It's probably what it was known as. Too bad you've already done the interview, so because I'd like to know. So inquiring minds want to know.
Indeed. Well, it's a good question, Dan, and you can't win them all. You can't win them all, Dan.
That's true, but there's always tomorrow, in this case, next week.
Next week, we'll be back with another Studio Simon Stumper. So, Dan, thank you very much, and we will see you next time.
You're welcome. I'll see you then.